Hello, Paul Ellis from the RIC Group. Let's go through a supply chain webinar of our WMS and TMS solution called TBO4. So the RIC Group started in 2001 and we've got a strong retail background where we implemented a number of barcode solutions, and this grew our warehouse management and transport management solutions for the supply chain industry. And we're now in the next generation, which has 3D modelling. We have our head office in Melbourne, Australia, and we have sites all over the world, and we have a distributor, Lympha Systems, in the USA, where our number of sites is growing rapidly. It is a browser-based solution. We use a loosely coupled technology. So with SAP Business One, we are using the service layer for integration, the REST API. We have a business layer on top, which allows us to put in rules. It's highly configurable and tailored to your needs. And it's running on Azure with an authentication database, and we use SSL token and OAuth as well for security. Today's agenda, we're going to go through receipt from production. We'll do SSCC scanning, staging orders such as picking, shipping, loading truck. There's a freight integration where we see a large return on investment, and we have load truck, and this load truck also includes a 3D solution. We also have our freight management with consignment status through our customer portal. So we have a lot of functionality with the WMS, TMS and customer portal. This is our pick orders. And through pick orders, we can use rules to assign to users. We can assign varieties and things like that. We also have the ability to run zone picking, such as chiller, freezer, and dry. The audit lines is really important. In the audit lines, we have millisecond data on which one's been scanned, when it's been scanned, by who it's been scanned. You may have multiple people in a pick where you could see which users have picked which products. And we're also capturing whether it's been scanned or manually inputted. We have freight screens that allow users to go back and do audits on what happened with their freight, such as length of height or weight, and we can see the consignment number. Run management allows us to sort the picks into our own runs, such as north, east, south, or 1, 2, 3. And we allow ourselves here to sort these, so we can put a sequence as well. So you can reverse load when it comes to load truck, but you need a sequence to know which one should be the first drop off, second drop off, third drop off. And this leads into the next part, which is our route planning. You can use Google Maps or Bing Maps, which gives us the best route, and that will update the sequence. Load truck, where we're doing a reverse load, we can load the pallets, we can load the cartons into the truck or the van, and it will give us a manifest for the driver as well that allows them to scan the 2D barcode when on site to capture the proof of delivery. Load planning goes a little bit further now, where we've got 3D digital planning, and it's going to give us the best plan to load based on weight and length with height. Proof of delivery allows the drivers and the users to capture a signature on site, allows them to capture up to 15 photos or more as well. You can capture photos during all the processes, picking, receiving, load truck as well. Customer service portal allows the customer service team to see where the picks are up to, and allows them to check the shipping details of those orders. You can check consignment numbers, when the manifest date was, and then you can also pull up the proof of delivery as well. So it gives users a one portal to use to go and check the up-to-date information on that delivery. We have a full API that allows us to do integration with multi-cloud. So whether it's an RFID integration, whether it's a manufacturing with Matthews integration, whether it's a freight integration, you need a stable API, and this is what we have at the RIC Group with our TBO4 solution. We have 3D digital twin for reporting, and this allows us to easily visually report on things such as empty pallet spaces, but we go a bit further, which allows us to do optimization reporting on users, the travel distance, their picking distance. Could the order have been quicker by moving some products in different bin locations? So we look at dynamic bins. Sales at the Rick Group, our website and our YouTube channel is all kept up to date. So the next part here is we're going to run through the SAP and the TBO4 integration, and Debraj from our sales team will be running this process. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. I'll be taking over and running through the process of the SAP transactions along with TBO4. So yeah, let's start from the scratch. So yeah, this is TBO4 home screen. As you can see, this is like the home page of TBO4, where you can see you can key in the login details with the username and the password. So once you have a username and a password, a picker can have a picker username password. For example, a receiver can have its receiver username and password, or a stock take person can have its stock take username and password. Depending on different transactions done in the warehouse, you can have individual username and password, and then you can log in. So basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the demo login that we have. You can see there are a list of multiple login coming up, and you can sign into TBO4. So once you sign in, what you will be redirected is to the homepage screen of TBO4. So the homepage screen of TBO4 will have the menu options at the top, where if you click those menu options, you can see the drop downs expands with a lot of other options as well, which is picking. If you click on the goods receipt, you can see the receipt from production. You can click on inventory, labels, deliveries, and the different menu expands as well. So there are a lot of other options that can be enabled in this menu. But for this demo today, what we are going to concentrate is these 4 stages, which is the receipt from production stage. We will be doing picking, we'll be doing the shipment stage, which is the disconnected freight stage we call, and the last but not the least is the load truck with the load planning as well. So before we move into the transactions, we will be showing you the SAP side of things as well, to actually have an understanding of how TBO4 works with SAP. So what I'm going to show you is the SAP production order. For example, the first stage for the demo is the production order process, which we'll be running through. So you can see there is a production order I've already created in SAP. So this is the product, finished good product, and these are the components inside the product. You can see the issue method is backflush, and the production order number is 377. So once the production order is created and released, so then we go into TBO4, click on the receipt from production option here. You can do goods receipt from production, or you can click this option. It just leads you to the same screen. So once you're in the screen, so you can see there are plenty of production orders open in our demo environment. So depending on what you want, you can type in, or you can scan the production order number. So in this case, I'll type in the production order number, and then it filters out that production order number for the finished good product. So now what I'm going to do is click on this production order document number. So once I click on the document number, then I'll be redirected to the production lines screen, where I can see what is the finished good for the production. So you can see the quantity that is being planned to produce is 4, but the completed quantity is 0 in this case, the received quantity is 0 in this case. So what I'm going to show you right now is I'll scan a bin location and scan the finished good product, or an SSCC related to the product, provided we are presuming that the SSCC is produced, or you can have the SSCC produced from our system as well. So let me show you examples of barcodes that I'm going to scan before I actually do the scanning. So as you can see here, I bring up in the screen. So these are some of the sample barcodes that I'll be showing you today while scanning in TBO4, how the feedbacks look like in TBO4. You can see these are bin location barcodes, item barcodes at the top, and if I scroll down, you can see the load truck delivery barcodes, as well as the SSCC barcode that I'm going to show you in the production order process as well. So anyways, let's move ahead. So let me bring back to the other screen so that it helps me in scanning. So yeah, first things first, in the production order line screen, what I'm going to do is scan a bin location. So let me scan a bin location right now. So now when I scan a bin location, you can see there's a success, gives a feedback to the user instantly, and you can see the bin code gets highlighted at the top. And once the bin code is selected, you can then scan the SSCC, which is related to that particular good in the production order screen. So when I scan the SSCC here, you can see the SSCC gets recorded. There's a feedback, instant feedback to the user given, and whatever the products for that SSCC is, it gets recorded with the quantity as well. So you can see the received quantity when I'm scanning the SSCC comes up with that quantity received as well, and the SSCC gets recorded in the system as well. So at the end, if you are happy, you can scan multiple SSCCs belonging to multiple products, and the system will record as much as you scan with the quantities and the items that are associated with that SSCC. And if you're happy, you can confirm the process. And what it does, it confirms the transaction from TB04, and in a few seconds it goes and updates the ERP and creates the issue for production and the receipt from production as well. So you can see this is SAP. So when I open SAP again, you can see the production order is now grayed out. The lines are grayed out. If I check the relationship map, you can clearly see once I complete the production order from TB04, it just created a receipt from production and an issue for production as well. So now if I double click and open the receipt, you can see the planned was 4, completed is 4, comes back from TB04, and also you can see what are the components that are issued as well. So this is like an end-to-end process, how you can do a receipt from production. You can do it in multiple ways. You can print labels, you can produce SSCC labels in TB04 and then print them and scan them, or if you have a predefined SSCCs, we can then scan it in TB04 to then record that SSCC as well. So there are multiple ways of doing it. So yeah, TB04 can handle all the different types of combinations. So moving ahead, what we will be doing is the sales order picking process. So let me show you a sales order in SAP Business One that will be doing the transaction with the WMS with. So this is the sales order. As you can see, 4902 is the number. This is the product. I'm using the similar set of products for the demo today. So if I go and check the pick list for this order, you can see this is the pick ID which I generated for this order, 4377. So once I have generated a pick list for the sales order, what I'm going to do is going back to TB04, I'm going to go into sales and picking option. So what it will do, it will then list me all the open picks in the system. So you can see these are the respective pick IDs, the customer names, the doc date, the doc nums, the number of lines in that order. Using this screen, you can assign users to a pick. For example, if I am choosing the pick that I'm looking for today, which is 4377, you can see it comes up here. So I choose this pick and I then assign a user. For example, I assign test 9, the first user. You can see it's very evident once you assign a user to a pick, the assigned user gets assigned to that particular pick as well. Also, the other thing you can do is assign priorities to a pick as well. If I want to set it as a high priority, I can choose the pick ID and then assign it to lines by choosing the priority, and then it assigns the priority to the pick as well. So as you can see, the priority comes to the top, which is the pick ID for 4377. So there are different tabs here where you can navigate through different tabs to see what are the different statuses of the orders are there in the warehouse. For example, if you want to see the partially picked orders, it comes, if you click on the partially picked, the fully picked orders, you can see the fully picked orders as well. And the other part, you can see what are the picks that have got issues in the system. And also if you want to see all the release picks, you can click on the release tab and it shows you all the released orders or the picks in the system. So moving ahead, what we are going to do is we will be then diving into the pick by clicking on the pick ID. So yeah, once I click on the pick ID, you can see this is the line screen that opens. It tells me what are the items for the particular order, for the particular pick. So in this screen, what I'm going to show you right now is scanning an SSCC, which will then recognize in TB04 that what are the items are there in the SSCCs. You can have multiple items. You can have one item's SSCC. By SSCC, I mean it's a pallet. It can be a carton. It can be anything depending on your terminology. So now what I'm going to do is scan an SSCC right now. So as you can see, when I scan an SSCC, there's a success instant feedback. Also, the screen color changes. The line color, changes here. It changes to green. You can see the pick quantity changes to 4. And then if I expand the audit, you can clearly see what the user has done. They have scanned this particular SSCC, which is the same SSCC if you realize that I have used it in the receipt from production screen. So I'm using the same SSCC to then pick that same item and then dispatch it as well. So yeah, when I scan it, you can see what is the bin location. It gets it automatically from the bin location that the SSCC was present in, and also the time gets recorded at which it was scanned. So moving ahead, once you scan an SSCC, you can see the pick quantity increases. You can print the labels by going into the print label at the top. Then you can see these are the different dimensions that comes up. You can preset the different pack types. The dimensions also changes as well. And then if you're happy, what you can do is basically you can print the SSCC labels to the respective printer. So what I can do is I can show you how a template, basically how it looks like a SSCC label template that we have in our system. So when we print the SSCC label, you can clearly see it sends the label to the printer. So how it looks like similar to SSCC label template, a mock-up label template that we have is this. So you can have n number of information on the label template and then display and put it in your boxes when you dispatch as well. So moving ahead is, once you print the SSCC label, you might want to dispatch the order at the same time. So what you can do, you can choose your service provider. For example, what I'm doing, I'm choosing Star Trek Express. We can automate this in a number of ways, and then you can choose your service provider here. And then what you can do, you can click this button called print freight labels, which then enables the system to talk to the freight provider, create the consignment, and the freight provider will know that, okay, the consignment has been created and is ready for pickup. This is how the TBO4 integrates with the freight provider as well. So if I can click on print freight labels, you can see there's an option coming up. If I just want to reuse the con node or new con node, I can choose any option and then it will print me the freight labels as well. So you can see the freight labels is telling us that the labels has been sent to printer. I just wanted to show you how the label template looks like. So basically, it looks like a mock-up label template in our system, similar to this. So yeah, so you can see here, this is like a sample label template that gets printed from a system. It can be Star Trek. We integrate with number of freight providers like OneFlow, MacShip, ShipStation, etc. So Direct Freight is also one of them, and a number of freight providers. So what I'm showing you is a Star Trek label. So this is how you can print Star Trek labels from our WMS as well. So moving ahead into the WMS side of things, so now you can see once you have printed the freight labels, so you have printed the SSCC labels, then you can complete the transactions from TBO4. You click complete and click OK. So what it does, instant feedback to the user again, pick is completed, goes away from TBO4, and then in a few seconds it should go back and update SAP with the required transaction as well. So moving ahead, we'll show you SAP as well. So this is how it looks like in SAP. As you can see, now the sales order which we operated on when we completed the transaction, it closes off. If I click on the relationship map, you can see a delivery gets created when you complete the transaction from TBO4. If I open up the delivery, you can see the quantities get posted back from the WMS of whatever you have picked. And then if I can go to the logistics tab, you can see the tracking number that was generated from WMS gets posted back to the delivery as well. Also, you can check your inventory posting list, and your packing slip will have the required data of whatever you did in WMS will then send back to SAP Business One as well. Anyways, moving ahead is something, this is the pick order stage. What I've shown you is the picking stage. You can use the picking and the shipping stage at the same time, but if you do not want it, there can be n number of combinations, as we said before, while you use the WMS. The another stage is a disconnected freight stage. Why we call it disconnected? Because picking is done at certain stage, and once the pick is completed, you can then go and then ship the orders out separately. So basically, if you click on the disconnected freight option, you can see these are the orders that are waiting here, ready to be dispatched. You can open up any order by selecting the order, and then basically follow the same steps, like you can print the freight labels, choosing the freight carrier, and then what you can do is basically, so at the end, when the labels are printed, you can then complete the transaction, and then it will go and update SAP Business One as well. So there are a number of different combinations you can use with the WMS. You can do picking and shipping at the same time, or you can use the disconnected freight stage to see what are the shipment orders that are staged for, and then you can complete it from the screen as well. So the last bits which I'm going to show you right now with the WMS is the load truck feature. So the load truck is something that you can plan your loads effectively, and using our 3D integration, you can see what you're loading and then give it to the drivers to then scan that load as well. So yes, moving ahead, what we will do, we'll go to the load truck option. So you can see the due date is selected as today. I'll choose my run, which I want my load truck or my trucks to be going on. So I choose the north run. And then if I choose select, you can see here there is something option that coming up here which tells you what is the delivery that is getting loaded to the truck. The respective details like time and the address also gets sent here as well. So now in this screen here, you can print the manifest, give it to your drivers, and then they can see what they are delivering here as well. So yeah, just let the manifest load. So you can see once the manifest loaded, it gets the respective details, the customer address, the shipment number, the QR barcode, where the drivers can use that QR barcode to load them into the truck. We go a step further where we display it in a 3D as well. So kind of a 3D is similar to this. Let me show you that as well. So now if I click on that send cargo details, it will redirect me to the screen, and then if you see here, you can load it in different way. So you can see this is a container, but I can choose different trucks if I'm planning to load in a truck as well. If I'm planning to load in a container, you can see I can play around with these options. And then if I choose a truck, for example, I'll choose a truck now, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to hit this load button, and this is an AI thing which is smart enough to help you identify what load gets effectively loaded into the truck. So you can see clearly it's for order 3737. You can zoom in the order as well, and then you can see what is the box number for that order as well. So you can, if you have multiple boxes you're loading into a truck or a container, you can use this feature to effectively plan the load, and then you can see the weights come up here as well of how you're loading the truck, what is the weight on each of the boxes that you can load as well. So then once you have loaded your truck, effectively planned your load, you can then share the link. And once you share the link, you can then retrieve the cargo report from TBO4 as well. So you can clearly see once I retrieve the report, you can see the report comes up whatever you have sent back from the Easy Cargo as well. So you can see this was container which was previously done, but if I want to update, I can go to the load truck screen, share the link again to yes, and then basically it will then send the report to the TBO4 as well. So once the report gets sent, you can then retrieve the cargo report again, and then you can see the cargo report will be updated of whatever you have sent recently. So now you can see we have used a truck, and then basically it tells you what is the weight and what are the boxes that you're loading into a truck as well. So it can work for multiple boxes. You can plan your load effectively, and then basically in the load truck screen, you can use our WMS solution to scan when you're loading into a truck. So when I scan something, I can scan an SSCC or a delivery doc num, doesn't matter. So basically scan will tell me what I've loaded, and you can see once I scan, the audit will get populated with the load quantity. So I've scanned in one, and then I can complete the transaction from TBO4, which will go back and then print your report to the respective printer as well. So this is the 4 stages which I wanted to show you. So we have run through receipt from production, we have run through picking, disconnected freight, and load truck stages as well. So there can be lots of things, lots of combinations you can use with the WMS. There are lots of functionalities as well. The last part which I'm going to show you is the TBO4 customer portal. So let me show you that quickly as well. So this is the customer portal in a nutshell. So basically in the customer portal, you can see the different order stages in your warehouses. A customer service team finds it very useful to use it, or you can give it to the customers so that they can have an idea of what the orders are in their warehouse. So once I log into the customer portal with the required user credentials. So yes, once you're logged in, you can see this is the home screen of the customer portal where it lands you to the orders page. So the orders page will have all the orders that are there in the warehouse. So you can see some are released, some are completed, some are in the disconnected freight stage. You can then filter it out by what you want and the dates as well. You can also dive into the order to see what are the items inside the order. You can see these are all the released orders, so the pick quantity is 0. So even if a customer calls you and asks you where my order is at, so this will be a great portal, like a centralized portal to identify what your orders are at in which stage of the warehouse. So the next thing is you can see your ship details tab. If I click on the ship details tab, you can see what are the orders that are shipped. So as you can see, these are my completed orders, my shipped orders. I can dive into any order and then find out what is the consignment number that is being generated for that order and what is the freight carrier the order is shipped with. So all these details will be there in the customer portal side of things, where basically you can see the different transactions done in the WMS. The next is the proof of delivery function. So whatever proof of delivery you do with a WMS, it will get feedback to the customer portal as well. So now with the proof of delivery, you can see once the goods are delivered, the customer service team can always log into the portal to then see what are the goods delivered. You can then open the signature that the customer has signed, or maybe the delivery driver has signed, and also you can also access the report from the customer portal screen as well. This report will give you an idea of what are the items are there that has been delivered and what are the quantities being delivered, and also who has signed the delivery and the number of cartons that are delivered as well. So all this information, you can find it in the customer portal. So the customer portal is a great popular thing among the customer service team and also the customer as well, who are wanting to track their orders in the warehouse. Okay, so we will be moving into one last thing actually. So I forgot to mention that, which is the look and feels of the WMS in a small scanning devices or a tablet devices. So let me show you that quickly as well. Cool. So now I'm going to open that screen. So yeah, this is pretty much on a tablet device and an RF scanning device. So now you can see this is the screen, how it looks like in a smaller devices. So let me go to the picking screen. So if I click picking, you can see the picking screen loads instantly, and then it comes up with the respective orders, the names. So if I want to dive into a pick here, I can dive into any pick. And then you can see clearly it fits well in a very small device. So you can see the bin codes, the item description, release quantity, pick quantity columns. They're pretty much in one screen. You can then rearrange those columns, hide those columns depending on the flexibility of the user and the usability of the user as well. So this is the look and feel in the smaller devices. Let me show you some other screens, which is the receipt from production screen. So you can see all the production orders in the screen as well. You can scroll down pretty easily, and then basically you can dive into any production order as well. Disconnected freight screen again, looks and feels really good. So you can see the weight columns, the service code columns, the pick ID comes up pretty well in the small screen as well. The other part is the load truck screen. So you can see clearly the load truck screen is also, if I choose the north, it come up in this particular screen as well. So depending on what you want, you can have this selected, and you can see it comes up in the load truck feature as well. So it's pretty usable to use in small device as well as bigger devices. So because you can resize those columns, rearrange those columns depending on the usability, and you can then do transactions with the WMS. So yeah, that's pretty much it from my end. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, just email us and we will be able to answer any questions you have. Thank you.